Hey, Lightroom guy here. And wouldn't it be great if the JPEGs that your camera made, you could apply those settings to your camera raw files? Well, here's a way to do it that I think you'll find is pretty exciting. I want to share something with you that I learned recently at my New York City Lightroom meetup with guest speaker Katrine Eisman. She suggests that instead of working in Lightroom with the basic panel first and then starting your develop process, to start with the camera calibration panel at the bottom and work your way up. Now, I'm not going to go through all the things that she covered, but I do want to start with the camera calibration panel because I thought that this was pretty interesting. Right here in the camera calibration panel, you'll see there's profile and then a pull down menu where you see you have some options. Now, these options are actually JPEG profiles that Adobe has included that emulate the kind of color and contrast that you'd get if you were shooting in-camera JPEGs, and we're able to apply that to your camera raw files. But you can't apply these settings to camera raw in your camera. That's just the way it works. Here, Lightroom has these profiles that will emulate what it would look like, the color and contrast. And if you like the way JPEGs have been looking in your camera and you've been avoiding shooting camera raw because you don't like the way they look, here's your opportunity to actually create raw files that have a similar look to the JPEGs that come out of your camera. And each camera manufacturer has different profiles that they use to apply to the in-camera JPEGs. In this case, this set of profiles is for my camera, which is a Nikon. And if you're shooting with a Canon or an Olympus or a Lumix, you'll have a different set of profiles that you'll be looking at when you pull down this menu. By default, we're looking at Adobe Standard. Let's take a look at camera flat. And the contrast has been knocked down. There's not a lot of saturation. Take a look at landscape. We've got a lot more saturation, some more contrast, and now here's what our image would look like in monochrome. So these are settings that your camera, or my camera, would apply to a JPEG if we had those settings set and we were shooting JPEG. Or if we were shooting RAW in JPEG, this would only get applied to the JPEG file. We'd have to figure out a way to get this applied to the camera RAW. And here's how we do it, right here in the camera calibration panel using the profile pull-down menu. And there's absolutely no reason why you can't apply these settings to your picture right here from the camera calibration menu. But this is the really cool part. This is where the presets come in, because I'm going to show you how to make a preset out of each one of your profiles so that when you go to your presets, you'll get an instant preview of each one of these without actually having to go to the camera calibration panel. And this is how easy it is. Let's make our first preset using the camera Vivid. And if you're doing something with an Olympus or another camera, you may have something named slightly different. Pick a profile that you like, and if you're following along, it doesn't matter what profile you choose. And let's make our first preset by going over to the Presets panel. And if you notice here, you have a user presets folder. Mine's empty because I haven't made any presets here, but I'm going to add a preset by clicking on this plus to the right of the presets. And you'll notice my prompt tells me create new preset. I'm going to click once, and here's where I get my new develop preset dialog box. And I only want one item from my menu here, and that's going to be calibration. So I'm going to choose check none. I'm even going to turn off process version because I don't want to change that if I have a picture that has different process version. And I'm going to choose calibration. Before I click on create though, I want to give this a name, so I'm going to remember what it is. So I'm going to call it calibration camera Vivid. And now I can click create, and you'll notice now in my user presets I have a calibration camera Vivid. So let's just do one more of these. I'm going to go over back to my camera calibration panel, and I'm going to choose the next one up, which is camera standard. I'm just going to select that. You can see how my picture has changed in terms of the way it looks. I'm going to go back to my presets panel and click that plus. Now it's just going to give me whatever I worked on last. So calibration is selected, nothing else is. And I'm just going to call this calibration camera standard. And I'm going to choose create. And I'm going to continue doing this until I have all of my different profiles in my user presets. And right now we've ended up back where we started with the Adobe standard. Now, all I need to do, instead of going over to the camera calibration, the profile pull-down menu, and clicking on each one of these and applying it to my picture, all I need to do now is go over to my user presets, and if I just float my cursor over each one of these new presets, not to click, but just to float my cursor over, and you'll notice in the navigator window, I get a preview of each and every one of these profiles without actually having to apply it to my picture. And this is kind of a quick and easy way to get an idea of what any one of these profiles would look like without actually having to apply it to the picture until you're sure you see something you like. And then with a single click, you can apply that camera calibration profile to your image. And from here, with these JPEG style settings on your image, you can go back to your basic panel and start your develop process. And that's making presets from camera calibration profiles. This is Lightroom Guy. Thanks for watching.